Hello, everybody.
Good evening, good evening.
You'll notice that Shadorra is an ogre.
Rawr.
It's his normal face. Don't question it.
Discord is being a bit fucky, so
Yeah, we tried using the Discord like video chat thing, his cam and voice was going all robot-y, so they're gonna have to suffer looking at only my face tonight, I think. On a secondary note, I think I'm getting sick, so please ignore like the teacup and stuff. My throat is dying a little bit, so I might not talk as much, but knowing me, I'll probably talk just as much because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
So this is the Week 9 preview. We're going to go over the Week 8 results, take a look at what's coming up for Week 9, now that we are getting into playoff territory. Your prediction brackets for the Rotters Path to the Playoffs things were due today, like several hours ago. So I hope you did them or submitted them if you were doing them. So let's jump right into it, I guess. Now we are small. There's a slightly smaller ogre face. And we'll look at the week that just happened for 9D. So, do you have the predictions?
All right, before we had done this in the opposite order so we wouldn't give away the result, but whatever, it's too late. We'll do it this way.
What do you mean?
I do have the predictions. In the Skaven versus Welf off, we expected Jeff to win because Jeff is the division leader, and indeed he did win.
Yeah, the lineman got MVP, but also picked up a miss next game.
Yep. We won't look at this game too much because we're going to be reviewing this recap later, or the replay later, rather.
Storm Vermin got MVP, which is certainly nice, and it would have leveled him, and he picked up Mighty Blow.
Very cool.
So yeah, we'll skip over that a little bit because that's the game that we're gonna take a look at later.
Yep. The Dark Elves had a bye. Buffkit Bills are a bye now.
Mm-hmm.
We had Lizards versus Dark Elves. I said the Lizards would win. Ben said it would be a tie, and I was correct.
To be fair, I watched this. I casted this game live, and the Dark Elves were a 2+2+ away from tying it. It was a 2+. It was a 2+ ball pickup, and then a 2+ GFI, and he failed the pickup. So he was
sucks.
two 2+s away from making it a tie. So I was almost right, which would have made me look so good because I predicted a tie.
But alas.
Yeah. Lyman picked up MVP, didn't level him. Skink got MVP, didn't level him. Not a whole lot of SPP, really, because there's only one touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, the Dark Elves only made 14 blocks, too. It looks like they were getting muscled around quite a bit by the Lizards, which is to be expected somewhat. You'd like to hunt more skinks, ideally, but it can be hard to get your blocks in.
Yeah, I watched a piece of I'm not sure if I saw all of this game, but I saw at least most of it, and it should be on my VODs somewhere if you want to see it in more detail.
And next up is the best result, which is Goblins rather versus Chaos, and we predicted the Goblins, and they won.
Yep. We were
great MVPs on both sides. Wifey gets a second level up on the Fnatic.
Mighty
Chaos
Blow.
Warrior level gets Mighty Blow. Wifey now has Mighty Blow and Grab. Yeah, they both picked up Mighty Blow.
Yeah,
Fitting.
I remember there was a debate in Advice in Discord a couple days ago about the first level up on a Fnatic, and they were Grab and Mighty Blow basically being argued, and now Wifey has both. So there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, this is a fun. I'm glad that we predicted that. We predicted Goblins, and we were right. So boom,
yeah,
Goblin
exactly.
victory.
Lots of SPP on both sides. 12 to many.
Yeah, so many.
13, 19 SPP as Goblins is not really what you expect. Normally you give away 20 SPP.
Looks like the Goblins just sort of goblined the Chaos pretty good. 4 days inflicted, 1 kill inflicted. Yeah, Chaos had a whole lot of kill skills, yeah. Cheeky Elves had a bye week as well. Armor Furnace and Union United.
So we expected the Pro Elves to win this, but it was a 2-2 tie, which is fascinating how Chaos ties against Pro Elf.
Especially 2-2.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
if Chaos ties Pro Elf, you'd expect 0-0 or 1-1, not 2-2. So a lot of touchdowns on both sides.
We would have liked to watch this game, but we've watched games from these guys before, so we didn't want to give them too much attention. So we'll be casting two people we've never seen before.
Some good SPP on both sides.
Yeah,
7,
particularly
6.
for Armor Furnace. Yeah.
Like three injuries to 2 touchdowns and an MVP will certainly do that.
And 6 KOs. It looks like maybe Union United scored twice quickly and then got absolutely annihilated, which is what happens sometimes as Pro Elves. The goal is to score enough times before your team implodes that so that the enemy can't physically walk the ball into the end zone enough once you're down to like 4 players.
Yeah, and
so
that's probably what happened.
That's not what happened. He didn't get enough touchdowns, that is.
Well, he tried to. The Union United had like very little ball possession, 2 passes, 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. That screams like 2 turn touchdowns, while slowly getting beaten to death by the Chaos, and eventually the Chaos had enough control of the game that they could just score and make up 2. So the Union United just did not get as many touchdowns as they really needed to before they imploded.
Exactly. And then finally we have the Average Rice Joes versus the Kislev. And we predicted the Lizards would win, and indeed they did.
2-0. 2 level ups from the MVPs, Peter Lafleur and Resin Beard Moose, both MVP'd and leveled out of it. So that is now a Mighty Blow block source, so we can't complain about the Mighty Blow first anymore because he also has block. And Sure Feet Catcher, which is interesting as a first skill. Rather than like Dodge.
Dodge is more classic. Yeah, you really want to get those skills on Kislev, as they already have a bunch of kind of weird utility skills. So picking up the free rerolls and the things that make them more reliable, like blocks, so you're not constantly burning those, rerolls you need for leaps, tends to be pretty important.
Not a whole lot of SPP for the Kislev. He got the MVP and a pass.
Jeez,
it looks like.
What a game for the Lizards, though. 11, 13, 16, 18, 21.
Well, 5 injuries and 2
Jesus.
touchdowns. That's 16, 21 from the MVP, the injuries and the
they got
touchdowns.
33% armor break or injuries out of armor breaks, which is way above average. So
yeah, I feel like I wonder if we take a look at the dice rolls. Nothing particularly scary for the Lizards. No, I was expecting like some ludicrous dicing on one side or the other, but it just seems that the distribution, one of those things with the distribution was a little bit weird, right? Like you had pretty even rolls for most of the game, but the ones that happened to be good were the ones that mattered a lot, namely the armor.
Yeah, in fact, the Royalton Circus rolled. Well, they rolled a lot of 2s, which are fails for leaps. Let's see, where's the leap roll?
61%.
Yeah, he made 61% of his leaps, which is below average, assuming they were all Agi 3 leaps, which is not likely. So
yeah, and it's close with only just 13 leaps. That's not going to work out to like an exact percentage for D6s.
Oh yeah, I just meant more that if catchers are doing leaps, they're 2+, so you'd expect it to be somewhere between a 3+ and a 2+ expected value, and that's below a 3+ expected value. So it's kind of bad, but
yeah, I was going to say it's not very much below a 3+ expected value.
Yeah,
or how little there were.
Assuming that all of them were 3+ leaps, which who knows.
Yeah.
So that's 9D. Quick wrap up there.
We can take a look at the leaderboard, and we'll see with that win, Jeff and the foul targets are still comfortably in first by quite a bit at this point with 0 draws, only 1 loss. The Average Rice Joes and Average Rice haven't actually lost a game yet. But 3 of those games have been draws, so like that's 3 games that equal 1 win. It's not quite.
Yeah, they're 3 points behind Jeff, and as there is only 1 playoff spot for this division, it's going to be hotly contested. Have the Average Rice Joes and Jeff faced off yet?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think they have.
I'm trying to look now.
No, they have not. They play in week 12.
Yeah.
We found that at the
exactly the same moment.
I'm looking at my simulation spreadsheet. So
just looking at the schedule.
Yeah, the as of the results, I resimulated again this morning. as of this morning, there's only one match that hadn't been played, and that was just an admin win, so that doesn't really change anything. Average Race Joes, Armor Furnace, Cheeky Elves, Union United, and Redeemed Dark Elves are still technically in this. But it's going to have to go really badly for Jeff in the coming weeks.
What were Jeff's odds of winning or going to the playoffs?
I currently have Jeff at 79% of the time making the playoffs, and the next hot contender there is the Average Race Joes with 17.2% of the time.
So it's mostly a competition between these two, unless they both just start losing catastrophically.
Yeah, the others, they can't, it's technically possible for Armor Furnace, Cheeky Elves, Union United, and Redeemed Dark Elves to make it as well, but it's not as likely. Some catastrophic things have to happen in the division, I think. And below that is mostly out, as far as I can tell.
Yep. Okay, so let's look at some predictions. We're going to quickly move through this so we can get onto the replays.
Yep.
So first up, we have Drats Rats versus the Las Vegas Lizard Gizzards.
Isn't so that oh no, that's
Leazar versus Drats Rats, which is one of the...
It's the rat team. That foul targets.
So we won't look at the teams too much because we're not doing that this week, but so it's a fairly developed lizard team versus a rat team. Do they have Claw Mighty Blow?
No, they do not.
They do not. They have Mighty Blow though. They do have a strip ball wrestle gutter runner though, which is huge against skinks because skinks have 0 protection from those skills, and it's a 1 die because assuming you take away the assists. So it's really easy for the rats to get the ball away, assuming they can get the cage dive part. Admittedly, the cage dive is the hard thing. It's a 4+, 5+ for gutter runners with dodge. So 55% of the time they'll make it. But the 45% that they don't, they go splat on the ground. So kind of dangerous.
Yeah. Both of them are sort of mid-table. Las Vegas Lizard Gizzards are mid-table right now. Drats Rats are near the bottom, but that's mostly because they came in as a replacement.
Laser does not have a ton of source development. This is going to be tough. I think I'm going to very narrowly give it to the Rats, simply because of that gutter runner, and because he only has 2 block Saurus, 1 a block Mighty Blow, though the block Mighty Blow guy might do work. It could go either way, honestly. I think it's like a 55-45 for the Rats.
I guess to make this spicy, I'll go with the Lizards then, just so that we have something to argue about next week. When one of us is right and can lord it over the other, even though both of us are totally I have no idea. It could go either way. Here goes nothing, and the Buffkit Bills. Have they officially totally dropped?
Yeah, it's an admin's call. You can see there.
I see. Yes. So the next one that matters is Cheeky Elves, and I'll have to update the simulation then, because I haven't set Buffkit Bills to being bye weeks every week from now on. So that should change those odds depending on who gets those free buy wins coming up. That might change things. So stay tuned for an updated percentage next week, I guess. Cheeky Elves and Foul Targets. Well, that's our undefeated Wood Elf team, and our mostly undefeated other elf team. It's also potentially a close one. The Cheeky Elves certainly really wants to win it if they want to have a chance at making the playoffs, right? A, because they need foul targets to lose, and B, because they need their wins up.
That's true.
It's a super important match for the Cheeky Elves.
I still give it to the Wood Elves. He's just proven himself to be a really good coach, and not that Gypsy Prince is bad, of course, but he's just killing it this season so far.
Yeah, it's hard to vote against those war dancers. They're pretty good.
They're gross. The tree should also do work against pro elves.
Yeah, on the one hand, I think I want to give it to foul targets, but I will say that this is a super important match for the Cheeky Elves. If they want to make playoffs, which admittedly they might not want to, I know some people don't, they have to win this. So this might be a good one to cheese an inducement or two on.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm arguing with Lazar in chat. I think this would be a cool match to watch, but we're watching Lazar's match this week, so we probably won't. It's worth noting that Lazar does not not Lazar, I keep saying Lazar. Gypsy Prince does not have any sure hands, and Jeff has a strip ball war dancer, so that could really bite him in the ass for sure.
Before we look it up, I'm supposed to guess who won between the Archangel and Friendship is Massacre. If I recall correctly,
We predicted. Wait, isn't Friendship is Massacre the undead team?
yeah.
I thought Archangel was coaching Wood Elves.
He is, right?
I don't see a Wood Elf versus undead game.
Oh, it was this week, not last week.
Oh, they already played this week. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's interesting. How would I have called that? Slightly developed undead versus developed wood elves. Jeez, that's a tough match. I think I'd give that to the wood elves if they survived.
Yeah, but it is next div Razor Sharp, but it's also the match that happened this week, which is why we didn't already have a prediction for it.
Yeah, the div got rolled like 2 hours ago, so I assume you guys just dove in and played immediately.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're getting horribly derailed. Thanks, Archangel.
I think I would guess. I don't know. I'd have to look at the teams, and I can't really look at the teams without spoiling it for me. But you made a prediction, so I guess I kind of have to. Wow, that's so hard. I don't want to be like wrong. I'll go with undead, I think. So we'll see.
So I'm gonna predict the wood elves versus the
so
pro
am I.
elves. What do
So
you
am
think?
I. Yeah. Redeemed Dark Elves and Armor Furnace.
Or high elves, not pro elves.
Yeah, Redeemed Dark Elves and Armor Furnace. Once again, this is one that Armor Furnace has to win if they want to continue making a playoff push. The other thing is, this is the Dark Elf team with a bunch of assassins, which do very little against the Chaos.
Yeah, I think I would give this to Armor Furnace. He's proven his ability to out-elf elves, so...
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same.
And he's got so much Mighty Blow. and a fair amount of block as well, so he's well-suited to punch it out with some Dark Elves.
Average Race Joes and Voodoo. I think we're going to go... I'm going to go with the Average Race Joes here, I think. They're slightly higher in the table right now, proved themselves to be doing well. And it's also a must-win for them if they want to make playoffs, right? It's kind of hard to vote against the team that absolutely needs to win if they want to continue forward. Quite a bit of source development already, still. And Voodoo... has recovered a bit, but he's still missing blitzers, I think. So.
All right, I agree rather. So then it's Kislev. Oops, almost expelled Leazar from the league.
I think he would be mad if you did that.
I could just invite him back.
I was right. You were wrong. Haha, it was the undead. Boom.
You win.
Eat it.
Kislev versus Chaos.
Yep. The Ladder Climbers and Royalton Circus.
Oh, they've got a Blodge Chaos Warrior. That's neat.
It is neat.
I would give this to Chaos. The Kislev just don't have the reliability skills they need yet, and they only have... Oh, they have 2 blitzers, but still. Oh, and the bear is MNG'd. No, the bear is armor busted. Oof.
Oh.
Oof.
Well, a lot of people don't hold on to the bear. They do the same thing that people do with like rat ogres and stuff, where they'll use it initially to try and like keep some of their better players alive until they can get some development, and then they just fire the bear. So you don't really need the bear. You can certainly play Kislev without it. But I think I will also give this is maybe closer than I think it will be. I think I'm also going to go with Chaos, though. He's missing 2 of his like actually developed players. He only has 1 like block dodge type skill to keep his players on their feet against a punchy Chaos team. Although if I recall correctly, Ladder Climbers don't have a ton of...
They're doing a bit better now. I looked at their team.
ton of skills.
But anyway, we can move on to 9E.
Yeah, so I'll go with Oops, I backed out too far. Yeah, I'll go with the Chaos there as well. And then United over Mamba by
And yeah, as we can see, Archangel already lost 1-2 against Morley, robbing us of a prediction for a fairly important and interesting match. So thanks, guys.
Oh, we predicted it before we looked. So, and I was right. So
yeah, but we couldn't look at the teams, which is
chalk one up for me, -1 for stupid ogre face.
I think that is the first time you've won a contested vote.
Probably.
Okay. So Chew Toys versus One Cheese. We had predicted that Rex Longbone would continue to win, and he did.
Yeah, this is the match I think that we're going to take a look at, so won't go into it too much right now.
Yeah, we're going to look at, like we said in the post earlier, we're going to be looking at both division leaders. So One Cheese's games and or Rex Longbone's game rather, and Jeff's game.
Last week we had Archangel's Will and the Knights of Windrip.
This is the Bretonnian team that got added.
Right, so it was a bye week, but we didn't predict it because it wasn't there. So another bye week for Sierra Boys Giant Stags, so nothing to predict there. The Negaron Nut Punchers and the Komodo Killas, we predicted Lizards, and we were right with a 2-0 win to Komodo Killas.
Good MVPs on both sides, though. The Blitzer got an MVP, the Saurus got an MVP, and that leveled him, and he took Mighty Blow, because it's Vulpes, and he wants to spite us.
Yep, that's true.
As we discussed last week when he was in an airport. Good SVP on both sides, actually. Not great for the Dark Elves, but I mean, if you're losing 2-0, you don't expect to pull out too much, and they managed to get a couple of vanity passes on Maggot Meat and
Cockrip Dong Smash picked up an injury.
There you go. He's the Mighty Blow guy. I think.
He injured somebody to get into SVP. Yeah, it looks like it was mostly in the Lizards' favor all game. 55 successful blocks, couple injuries and knockouts. It looks like the Dark Elves just were kind of pushed around all match, sadly.
Yep, kind of to be expected against Develop Lizard coach. Next up, we actually predicted a tie in Dwarves versus Humans, and Dwarves scored 2 touchdowns as like a fuck you to our prediction.
Yeah, so there you go. Razor Sharp and Liverful taking 2-0 win over the Gods of Metal.
Yeah, we were like, clearly if any game is going to result in a tie, it's Humans versus Dwarves, and we were wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Dwarves did some punches, certainly. 12 armor breaks.
They both did 56 to 50 armor, or after 50 blocks, 106 blocks total. Yeah. But the Dwarves are armor 9, thick skull, so predictably this went a little bit better for them. 2 KOs for the Humans, 5 KOs and 1 injury for the Dwarves. Not a lot of SPP on either side.
Well, there is for the Dwarves. They got 13. It's just on 2 players.
I mean, 13 is just average.
Not for Dwarves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Average for Dwarves is like 8, maybe 10. Yeah, picked up some. They injured some. Got decent amount of SPP. That Blitzer, who already had Mighty Blow, leveled, so he picked up guard, unsurprisingly. Alice Cooper is now 1 SPP from leveling, sadly.
It's human linemen. You don't care if they level that much.
That's true.
But you want something. Yeah, so in the Undead versus Khemri, we predicted again that the Undead would win, and Morley continues to disappoint us in everything he does. Yep. So moving on. No.
They tied. 2 Broken Boys sustained. Did they sustain 2 deaths? Or yeah, they sustained 2 deaths.
They did, yeah.
I need to.
God. Yeah, right. This is they lost the Tomb Guardian. Didn't we see this?
I think we talked about it, but we didn't actually see it. They did lose a Tomb Guardian, and Tomb Guardian is dead. And it was their only skilled Tomb Guardian too. Remember how he had 2 levels on 1 Tomb Guardian, and we were talking about how, that's great Tomb Guardian development, but you'd rather have that spread out in case one of them dies, and then he died.
Marley, how can you lose and be a monster? Oh, God.
I think Shazelbob is okay with that, though, considering he now has a plus Agi Throw Raw, which is the dream level for a Khemri player.
That's pretty decent, yeah.
That's a Yeah, you now have an Agi 3 sure hands player on a Khemri. Like, your biggest weakness is not being able to pick up the ball. And never mind. Now you Agi 3 built-in reroll.
Oh, was it a self-imposed both down? Awesome. Losing a Tomb Guardian to your own greed is really the best thing in life.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
And Skeleton predictably picked up dirty player. So.
Yeah. Sadly, he can't repurchase the Tomb Guardian, so he's going to be playing his next game with down a Tomb Guardian. So keep that in mind for our predictions, I guess, when we come up to that. Yeah, Skeleton MVP. 2-2.
So let's look at the leaderboard.
Looks like a pretty close game.
Rex Longbone is in first at 7 wins, 1 draw. But right behind him is Volpez, who is also undefeated at 6-2, and Hogstench at 6-2 as well. So
yeah, this division is also pretty silly. Like there's a chance there's one person basically right out in the lead, but they've got 2 or 3 people that could catch up if they do well. If I look at my sheet here.
Yeah, I mean, Rex has 22 points, and Volpez and Hogstench both have, 6, 12, 18, 20 points? It's not like he's that far ahead.
Nope. I have one cheese making the playoffs more often than the other 2 teams. In the last division, there was sort of one runner-up that had a really good chance. The Lizard team in this division, both Komodo Killers and Desnot Nakas basically share the leftover percentage that one cheese doesn't make it. Because it's pretty evenly matched in terms of them. I think the Komodo Killers are ahead by a little bit just because of I think where the bye weeks end up getting positioned coming up. Free wins here and there. But yeah, one cheese is still the man to beat for and Rex Longbone is still the man to beat for taking the division title here.
So let's look at next week a little bit. So like we said, 1 game already played. First game is a bye for the Bretonians. They probably really need that buy for money and SPP.
Yeah, Archangel, technically you can make the playoffs from your position. I have it at a 0.4% chance of you making the playoffs currently. It's possible, but some weird stuff has to happen. Because mostly it ends up being really small for everybody who isn't like in the top first or second spot, because there's only one playoff position for the fresh divisions. You need to be number 1 to make it. So it's anybody who's not currently like 1 or 2 has a hard time being there. But you're not technically eliminated from playoff contention yet, is essentially the point I'm trying to make here. Dwarfs, no, I don't think so.
No, at only 3 wins. I mean, you're just kind of automatically screwed by your losses.
Yeah, the admin losses make it hard. But to be fair, only one person makes it from the division anyway. And a lot of people use this as development. So just getting some development games in is to move up with
your
Dwarves.
Team's doing really well anyway. So
yeah, your Dwarf team will certainly be really good come next season, wherever you get put.
Yep. So the first game that we have to actually call is CR Boys versus Rex Longbone. So Wood Elves versus Rats. Gonna give this to the Rats. I think it'll be a good game, and normally this is kind of a tough matchup for Rats, but Rex has got a really good team developing already. CR Boys has some levels pending. What's that on? He's got a level on his catcher. It's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah.
He's got a War Dancer with Tackle, which is really good for hunting down Rats.
This is one of those games that I want to go with one cheese based on sort of history and how well they've been doing, but the Wood Elves are no slouches either, and they have
I think
a team
it's going to be a really
good
game
for dealing with the Rats, certainly.
But then the Rats have the 2 Mighty Blow Storm Vermin, who are just going to tear through the Wood Elf roster if they can be allowed to. So I think I'm going to give this to the Rats, but it's going to be a hard game for Rex Longbone, I think, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Do you want to vote the underdog? Is that what your heart is telling you?
And I mean, my brain is telling me Rats, but my heart is telling me tie in a weird way, because they're both good. They're both really good at scoring.
Wood Elves and Rats do not tie.
They're both really good at scoring, though. is the thing. So
Yeah,
like,
if it's a tie, it'll be a 4-4 tie.
yeah, like I would not be surprised by like a 3-3 tie or something stupid.
Oh, they play tomorrow at 7 EST. Rex and CR boys.
Maybe
I might be able to watch. I feel like I have something going on tomorrow. Oh yeah, I have my minors game, so I can't play or I can't watch. But
the elves are pretty good. Oh, the other thing is that One Cheese is actually going to get some inducements. Not a whole lot, but maybe enough to make a bit of a difference. I'll go with Skaven and be annoyed when I'm wrong, basically.
wow, what a vote of confidence for Rex Longbone.
Yeah, well, if I want to be right, I'm going to go with Skaven, but I don't.
So this matchup, the matchup this week is the reason I think that Rex is the favorite. It's because Hogstench and Vulpus and Kulta have to play each other.
Yep.
Which means someone's record is being broken, or they're both walking away with ties, and ties are not what you need to make the playoffs right now. So
this match matters a lot.
Ooh, and Vulpus is down his Bloxagor. He's got a smashed hand MNG on a block guard Croxagor. Oof. Oh, he's got the plus string Saurus though. Oh, I think I knew that already.
The other thing is next week, or wait, no, the Bretonians have taken that, or no, they haven't. So next week, Vulpes has a bye, so he gets, if he wins this, he gets a free win next week as well, which puts him at 8 wins basically, which makes a pretty big difference. So that's my simulation stuff has the Komodo Killers ahead of the Snot Knockers by like a couple % basically, and it's almost entirely down to the fact that the Komodo Killers will have a bye week coming up, and this match is happening this week. So this one is really, really important. The Brets are not an admin. It was an admin team or an admin week that got replaced with somebody. So the Brets are a real team now.
Yeah. So this is a tough matchup for Lizards at this level anyway, and down at Croxagor, I mean, if I was playing this game, I would play to avoid attrition. Like it's tough to play for the win in this position as Lizards. You don't have any guard. You're down your pivotal strength piece, who is also your only guard. I'm gonna give this to the Orcs. It's gonna be a really tough game for Vulpes.
So am I.
With those blitzers, with all the mighty blow and the piling on, going after your skinks. Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hogstench as well. Sorry, Vulpes, but
Vulpes does get 120k, but that's not enough to get anything super spicy. I mean, like the ideal pickup would be Slibbly, and I think he's 230 or something like that.
The good news is, like, so this, like, if I want to be, once again, my brain says to not knock as my heart says the Komodo Killers. Because I need Vulpes, the underdog here. If you win this, it's huge. Winning this game like increases your chances of making the playoffs like really significantly. Because your week after is currently a bye week. So that would put you at, if you win this, you'd go up to 8 wins, which would likely only be 1 behind One Cheese still. So you are, like, you would be very close to contention. Like, this week, this match is super important. Whoever wins this basically eliminates the other one from contention. Whoever wins this is going to make the other person's path to the playoffs very difficult.
Yep. Well, Vulpes, prove us wrong. Scum a wizard.
Do it.
Bolt his star blitzer to death with that wizard. Win the game. That said, I think the Orcs are going to win.
Yeah, same. Toyz and the Gods of Metal. These are both teams that are sort of near the bottom of the division currently.
I think Rex, if he had his Crocs, I would have predicted a tie there.
I think I would have. Yeah, it would have been a lot closer if the Crocs was there, but the lack of the Crocs makes such a big difference, I think.
It's hard to 2-1 grind. It's hard to force Orcs to score. So 2-1 grinding them is hard at this level because you can't really cause any damage to Armor 9, and they have more Mighty Blow than you. So, but yeah. So then Toyz versus Gods of Metal. So this is the Necro team versus the human team. Kind of both in the middle of the pack a bit.
Yeah.
I guess the Toyz are a bit farther to the bottom. This is that's going to be. I feel like it's the sort of game that should go to the Necromantic team, but I don't know what either team are like in terms of or what shape they're in right now. He's got 2 block werewolves. That's nice. He's got a Mighty Blow, guard white, and the humans have a level pending.
What I was going to say is that I think if you just told me Necro versus humans, like, and their TVs, I'd probably consider Necro at this level. You like the Necro really start to take off once those werewolves get a few levels, and they only have 1 so far, but those they do have picked up block, and they have block on both of them, which is certainly really good. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Necro. I'll call it like I see it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Necro as well.
And then it is Dwarves versus Dark Elves. So Razor Sharp, who's been hanging out in chat, and the Negron Nut Punchers, which are Squid 5, the fairly battered but well-statted Dark Elf team.
Yeah. They're catching up a bit. They're still down a blitzer, but against dwarves, and especially with how well Razor Sharp has been playing.
Yeah, I mean, your Agi 5 Witch Elf is great, but doesn't do a whole lot against a massive dwarf flesh. So, and your 1 Mighty Blow is, somewhat dwarfed by the dwarf's Mighty Blow. So,
somewhat dwarfed.
Yeah.
I think the Negron Nut Punchers are going to get somewhat dwarfed, and I'm going to call this for Liverpool. Hello?
I'm writing. What?
Oh, you just didn't say anything.
Because I was writing. It takes my hand that is my push to talk button.
Oh. Let me see.
I don't use open mics because sometimes Tristan comes screaming into the room about nothing. So.
Fair enough.
Or sometimes I want to curse and shout about things. So, yeah, that's all of our predictions. So we will move on to the replays.
Yep. So we're gonna go watch Drats, Rats, and Foul Targets. We wanted to take a look at with talks of the playoffs going on right now, especially with the whole Rotters Path to the Playoffs contest that Herringzord is putting on, and some other cool stuff. Especially since that we are now in week 9 of 13, getting pretty close. We wanted to take a look at the 2 top contenders for our playoff spots from these 2 divisions currently. So we wanted to just take a look at both Jeff and Rex Longbone.
Okay, so they have Skitter, the stab, basically stab gutter runner.
I mean, he's stab, dodge, and shadowing.
He's a gutter runner, yeah.
The
big
deal
tail as well.
Yeah, the big deal is that he's he's a 5th gutter runner, and also shadowing on movement 9, pretty good. But the
shadowing prehensile tail, also a good combo.
Yeah, the biggest deal basically is the fact that you get a 4th gutter runner essentially on the Skaven team,
yes,
or a 5th gutter runner. Yeah.
Okay, so the Wood Elves have just started setting up. Let me know when you get to there.
Yep.
You have? You're good?
Yeah, we're good. I think we're good.
Okay. Strange setup from Rex. He's setting up in a very lopsided fashion. Maybe hoping the Wood Elves will score quickly.
Maybe. He's also put all his line fodder on one corner. The kickoff just happened. Pitch invasion.
Okay, so you're ahead of me.
It's a lot of stuns.
Oh wait, this isn't Rex, right? That's why I was terribly confused. This is Jeff versus Sir Kodiak. So.
Mm-hmm. This is Drats, Rats, and the Foul Targets. I think he's so if you set up your line in an off-sided way like this, then your opponent will set up against them, and if you happen to get like a perfect defense, you can move away and prevent the blocks, which as Rats you kind of want to do to save your players.
For sure. Getting in some good line hits here. He's got his block pieces to do that, so that's always nice. Tree didn't produce a Kaz, unfortunately, and the pitch invasion was fairly even. Though the War Dancer did go down.
Only 2 for the Rats and 4 went down for the...
no, 3 for the Rats.
Nope, I see 2.
There's a Gutter, a Storm Vermin, and a Line Rat.
Those 3 Line Rats in the front were all line blocks.
Yeah, but the stunned one was
only
because
2
of the
stunned ones.
invasion.
Was he? Oh, okay.
I don't think there was an armor break.
Blitz stab. Ooh, but into a fail. I don't know if I would have done the stab there, because you have the block Storm Vermin. Although that is a block lineman, I guess. You kind of want to save the stabs for the blodge players, and you didn't really have a good stab yet.
Yeah, I don't hate it. He doesn't have any mighty blow, so stab was the most likely way to produce an injury there. Unfortunately, that means you're based up against a block player, but you've made it pretty hard for him to get a counter block on you.
If he tries to dodge, you've also got shadowing.
You're exposing your Raj gutter runner over here to this this tackle.
I should pop up the skills.
War dancer. So I would expect the tree to come get a bit involved, and yeah, he does.
To the best of his ability.
He's got 2 movement. Give him some credit, or a break, I should say. So it looks like he's setting up to actually block this star player. Makes sense. It's a good block to get in. Yep, and I expected that tackle blitz, and it gets a POW.
Yep.
Not that it needed one.
Well,
and KO'd.
Yeah, well, the gutter runners are huge targets.
Yeah, you can't really leave them too exposed against war dancers. They're the perfect piece for hunting them down. Did you put the level up icons on? Or?
Yeah, I put them up, and then he asked for it like a second later. I was anticipating your needs.
Looks like Jeff is setting up for a bit of a quick score. To be expected.
Well, he doesn't want to get stabbed too much.
Well, and the wood elves are
never mind.
To ones. Oh, did he? You're ahead of me.
Yeah, he just KO'd Skitter.
Well, he might be back.
No.
He doesn't have secret weapon or anything, so.
Well, he's already up players. Well, stab doesn't have secret weapon in general.
That is definitely the danger of both setting up in a lopsided fashion and stab. Sometimes stab blitzes fail, and then you're just based.
Yeah, and he got hit, sadly. This is not really an easy matchup for the Rats. Like, you kind of want to force the Wood Elves to score early, but you don't really have the threatening tools to do so, because War Dancers and trees are a lot more scary at this point than your Stormvermin, because you don't have any Mighty Blow yet. If you had Mighty Blow, suddenly this match becomes way different, because then the Elves are more scared of you.
You can do a lot more attrition, yeah.
Yeah, right now they're not really scared of you, so they're happy to try and punch you while not scoring. But they're perfectly capable of scoring whenever they want to. It's really rough for the Rats, I think. Yeah, like, the good part about Skitter is not that he's meant to base players. It's the fact that you just get a 5th gutter runner. But he tried to take advantage of the stab and the armor 7.
Root, though.
Yeah, not an ideal take root, certainly.
Yeah, the drive's not going to last very long, so that's okay.
That's true. Yeah, the ideal part of Skitter is that he's just a 5th gutter runner, and gutter runners are so good. I think he just tried to take advantage of the stab, since he already had it anyway. I don't know if I would have blitz stabbed, but there's another exposed gutter runner hit. Greed reroll. I like it. I say I like it. I never greed reroll. I do like it, though. Hey, CR boys. Sideline cage is a little scary. You don't have sidestep, but what are the Rats going to do at this point? They're pretty well boxed in by the Wood Elves.
Yeah, and your best bet for punishing this just got stunned. So.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I like to watch it. I hate to do it. Correct, morally. Shadorra always makes fun of me for finishing halves with unused rerolls.
Oh God, you're so bad at reroll management. I mean, you're too good at reroll management, is I guess perhaps what I mean. Oh, he did it though. Spicy red die.
Yeah, it gets the yeah. That's why the sideline cage is scary. When you don't have sidestep, I did comment on it. That's a scatter and a half. Holy shit!
Wow.
The Rats are happy with that outcome. Yeah, I think the sideline cage was a mistake. Because
rolling that dice was scary though with no reroll. Base these guys up.
The Skaven are totally happy to take red dice whenever they get a chance to, and all he needed there was a push to remove you. The sideline cage.
he got a bit lucky, but let me look into that actually.
Shadorra shaved his head once the Discord camera stopped working for us. Sometimes Discord goes a little screwy with the voice chat servers, and it did, so he shaved his head and we get to look at him now.
Yeah, so that was a 5+ dodge with dodge. Into a red die with 4 successes.
It was unlikely to work, but he needed to try something. Otherwise, he was just going to get punched. And it
No,
didn't.
it wasn't even that. That's what I'm saying. It was a 38% chance play. Like, it wasn't crazy.
Oh, and as
I would have taken it.
if you're Skaven, that's how you play: is throw dice at it and hope it works.
Yep.
Elves are going to hope for a
scatter
good
the
scatter
ball.
here.
That stun is really clutch. Not a bad. No, not a great one. Oh, well, it's fine if you just throw dice at the problem.
Elves and Skaven. Yeah, it wasn't a terrible scatter because it wasn't in any tackle zones is the big thing, because elves can just elf their way to the ball as long as it's not in tackle zones.
Yeah, so they're throwing a lot of dice. Lucky that's the first one they've gotten.
Well, Skaven have at least a 1 die, 2 if they're willing to dodge, which I probably would be in this case. Well, it didn't work. Although, that's a good question. So well, it didn't work anyway, so it doesn't matter. But do you dodge with the Storm Vermin to get the assist and then block without the without block, or do you move this line rat in, or the the Storm Vermin does have block. Never mind. That
was a real nasty 1 in 9.
Yeah, that was also Storm Vermin, so it didn't matter. Ignore me. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. That kind of erased his entire advantage he gained by surfing the catcher. It was a really good play and a lucky bounce, but Wood Elves recovered well from it at least. And this is where we do the pass handoff nonsense. Oh, I was just going to hold on to it. Okay.
I would have liked a handoff there. I'm not gonna lie. He's not 100% safe from this gutter runner.
He did. Was that a handoff or a pass? He did, because he did one. He would have had to make a pass, I think.
Oh, okay. Pass is riskier for sure.
2 and Agi 5, still a 2+.
Yeah, but that's 2 2+s. So
yeah.
2 pluses fail sometimes. How you win at Wood Elves is rolling fewer dice.
As we certainly saw already. Hey, Doof. I have contacted appropriate people about getting an emote made, hopefully, so ideally you should have a teddy bear soonish. Oh, Storm Vermin block. There we go. Starting to even up that player difference, and this one is permanent. Well, not permanent, but permanent for this game.
Oh, he appoed it. I guess it is the block lineman. So it went from -Agi to just MNG'd, but that does sting a bit, and if he loses any other players, it could be risky.
Yeah, well, that's a permanent removal, sort of, right? There's 2 players out for both teams now, but the Skaven are only knockouts, and the Wood Elves are down a player for the rest of the match. So evening up that player differential for sure. I don't think I would have appoed that either, but it worked out. Target those gutter runners, certainly a good plan. In scoring range, putting the Ward Answer there to help guard. Presumably going to try to hand off and score on the Ward Answer because you care more about their SPP than the lineman. Can the rats really do anything? They could throw some dice at the problem, but it's not as likely to work this time. Seems Jeff has learned from the sideline cage mistake and is not doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessary the first time, so it was a good thing to learn. And a rather painless way to learn it. I mean, he's getting a little Kaz now, but
yeah, he didn't get punished too hard.
For the ball to have been hurled into a bunch of rats near his end zone, and for the rats not to have scored, is an incredibly lucky piece of work by the Wood Elves.
Yeah, it was a 1 in 9 on the rats' part, basically, is what stopped them from scoring. Marks up the ball. That's still only a 2+. Oh, can't dodge or can't reroll that. So that's only a 2+ for the Wood Elves to score here, if that's what they want to do. Or just a block if you're willing to score on the lineman, but if you want to score on the War Dancer, it's a 2+. He's going to take the touchdown on the lineman. Makes it 1-0 for Jeff and the foul targets. One wake up for the Rats. And one for the Wood Elves. So Rats are going to their drive up a player, and they did get Skitter back, which is nice. You can field 5 gutter runners if you want. Wood Elves rule of 5ing those War Dancers. Should be a pretty easy Rat score. They've got 2 turns to do it and 5 movement 9 players to do it with. Seems good, man.
Yeah, well, the Wood Elves have good tools to stop you, though.
That's true. But Agi 4 passes and Agi 4 catches are pretty likely if you want to just dump gutter runners into the end zone and have multiple scoring threats and then hurl it to one of them. Downside is no rerolls, as Rex Longbone pointed out.
Yeah, he's had a rough go with the dice.
Setting up to get a couple of 2 dies on the lineman, and then totally ignoring the tree, as is wont to do. Extra reroll, that helps. Insta stab blitz. Fail.
Oh, he does get an extra reroll, though, yeah. That's going to be clutch.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have stab blitzed. I think I would have been more tempted to stab a lineman and then block if that didn't work.
Well, there goes the reroll. Yeah, I feel like I would have used him
He's
just
still
more
a
as
bit ahead of me. I don't see a reroll. I don't know that I would have passed to the thrower.
I would have dumped the. I would have just used Skitter as a gutter runner and dumped them all into the end zone there.
Oh, and then he tried to. What was he trying to do there?
I don't know. Get it into the hands of a Storm Vermin who was on the line, and then try to score with the Storm Vermin on the next turn, I suppose. I don't think you needed to, though.
No.
No. Well,
Potentially from Skitter, though I imagine he's about to go splat.
he certainly is. Just a stun, though. I'm surprised.
I have seen an attrition fireball before. Ben once attrition fireballed 2 war dancers and a catcher, and
a lineman.
injured all of them. And a lineman, yes.
And I injured the two War Dancers and the catcher. Well, not injured, armor broke. One was a KO, one was an injury that got apoed, and then one was stun, I think.
So if there is a team to attrition fireball against, it's Wood Elves. I mean,
Armor 7.
Your Armor 7, Fireball has Mighty Blow, so you have a 50%. If you can hit 4 key pieces, you've got a 50%. You've basically expected value is you hit 2 of them, so that's 2 free Mighty Blow hits on Armor 7. Which, if you can do it against like their Blodge War Dancers, that's huge. The odds of you taking one of them out is pretty good. Fireball does have Mighty Blow. I have had. Nope, they both do. I've had this argument twice this week. I swear to you, both wizard spells have goddamn Mighty Blow. Do not make me pull out the rule book.
It's just Cyanide is very bad at documenting things. Well, with Skitter being stunned, this is not going to be a touchdown for the Rats here. Hopefully they can get a couple blocks though, and maybe remove some Wood Elves. Just a stun there. Oh my god, you copy and paste the whole thing in chat.
Fuck you. Because I actually had the argument because someone in college was saying that the Bolt didn't have Mighty Blow, and the online resources from Cyanide don't actually specify because they were lazy and didn't copy part of the rules.
Yeah, Cyanide.
Oh, a bit of a vanity pass there. But if you open up the actual rulebook, it says that Lightning Bolt also has Mighty Blow.
Yep. So I'm still a bit ahead of you, so let me know. I'm going to pause when we get to the start of have to tell me when you get there. At the very start, like as soon as you can press buttons.
Now.
Okay. Couple KO failures, sadly. The Wood Elves are still down, but at least they're only linemen. Skaven are back to full strength, however, going into their drive.
That's pretty exciting. Maybe Stab will finally do a thing.
He did have that copied already because he had that posted in like Discord like yesterday.
Oh no, I googled it again. There's an inducement page. Like, it's pretty easily accessible. But I definitely knew where to look because I'd had this argument already once this week.
The big thing is that the Lightning Bolt is a 2+ and the Fireball is a 4+ to actually like knock them over.
Yeah, it's true, Rex. That was the big problem, was that the odds of you knocking out someone with Mighty Blow on both rolls were insanely high. Man, he really loves these stab blitzes. Oh, he gets one!
And he does get one.
There's the stun, though.
I like how the stab is just like a claw.
Yep.
There was also the fun wizard bug for a while. That's been fixed, thankfully.
Where you could wizard during your opponent's turn and it skipped it effectively? Was that what it was?
If you had a wizard stadium, both players would have a wizard, and whenever you wizarded, it like shot you dead elf.
And there's no Apo, so that's a dead dodge lineman.
Well, at least it's just a lineman. If you both had wizards and you wizarded exactly at 0 seconds on your turn, it would use your opponent's wizard instead of yours because the game would think it was their turn because Cyanide has bad coding for some stuff.
Yeah, CR boys, I have seen that. It sounds broken until you realize that they changed the rules so that Fireball can scatter up to 3 squares, I think. So half the time you're going to hit an empty patch of ground and half the time you're going to hit your own players. So that's fun.
Yeah. Tree marking up. That's one of the Storm Vermins. Certainly good.
Yep.
One of their only block players now tied up against a tree.
It's good to force those Agi 3 dodges for against Skaven.
And you are not afraid of that tree getting punched against Skaven. They have no strength. They have no Mighty Blow. They have no claw. They have no way of dealing with that tree.
The star player getting punched again. This tackle War Dancer has done so much work.
Yeah, against those gutter runners, certainly. That's what he's there for.
Yeah, I had a similar game where I induced a stab guy, but the key was that you don't want to take the easy stabs on linemen. You want to hold him back for when the War Dancer overextends like this.
And then you stab him.
Yeah. Not that he is currently overextended because there is no threat to the War Dancer right now. But
stabbing the lineman is not necessarily great anyway because it's easier to just block them if you have block like you do on your Storm Vermin. Where stab really comes into its own is on the Armor 7 Blodge players like War Dancers.
Yeah, CR boys, it's good for a cage, but it can still horribly miss a cage, and it turns out often within 2 squares of the center of a cage is your screen, so...
Yeah, I don't really play tabletop, so I can't comment on that too much.
I have been told by tabletop players that the wizard in tabletop is trash. So it looks like the rats are going to get an easy score here, but the Wood Elves don't really mind. They want to make those KO rolls anyway.
Yeah, if the rats score on like turn 2 or 3 here, that's just a win for the Wood Elves because they can then have as much time as they want to score, and they're Wood Elves, so they can do that.
I think that it's very likely, Sierra Boys, that we will see Chaos Pact and some other Chaos-themed team. Maybe it'll be Khorne, maybe it'll be Slaanesh when they do the Chaos Edition, which is probably going to be in the next couple of months.
Yeah, as long as there are ways for Cyanide to make DLC teams, they will do so. The only ones that have really ever existed that they haven't put into the game yet are Chaos Pact, Khorne, and or Chaos Pact and Khorne. The only like sort of fan-made team that most people consider relatively balanced and is not in the game yet is Simians. There was sort of lore for them a long time ago, but they've never really been sort of officially in modern Blood Bowl. But that's also an option for them.
It's true. I think it's likely that we'll see, because Khorne and Chaos Pact are well-established teams with rules. Those are pretty easy. Most of the assets for Chaos Pact are the same as Underworld, so that's not too bad. They might need to
Chaos Pact is definitely an established team. Khorne was only established by Cyanide in Blood Bowl 1. So but I mean, they have the assets and stuff. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for them to bring him back. But,
no, neither.
So you're kind of forced to score here. You can't really tap that War Dancer, and he does.
Yes. Well, Simians, a lot of them have extra arms. It's like their tail. Their big guy is a silverback gorilla who has like agility access. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they have a lot of grab too, from what I remember.
They have a bunch of positionals. One of their positionals starts with grab, and they have one of their positionals starts with strong arm, so they can become weirdly good at passing, as well.
Yep. Yeah, Rex. The Chaos Pact are a very silly team. They're kind of good though. Like they're kind of weird, but 3 big guys is really good. Khorne are straightforwardly terrible, but they're funny as hell.
They're so fun.
You can surf people. You can surf people in the middle of the pitch.
The entire team has frenzy. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's not good, but it is funny.
Hey man, the Bloodthirster is the best big guy in all of Blood Bowl.
That's just patently false.
No, like I'm not even joking. He's so good.
He is good, but the issue he has is that he makes you want to use blitzes on him.
That's fine.
Which is not a trait you want your big guy to have, because
that's fine.
Really stupid or wild animal, whatever he has, is a thing. Wild animal, I assume, because
wild animal.
Stupid. Now, the best big guy is the Croxagore.
No, Bloodthirster.
False. I mean, he's really good for killing people. As Ben will tell you, in Blood Bowl 1, in one of the earliest iterations of REBBL, he had a Khorne team with the Bloodthirster start, which is basically a Bloodthirster, 2 rerolls, and all linemen.
Yep.
And he just basically murdered people with the Bloodthirster and lost every game.
I didn't lose every game. I was like 1 point away from making the playoffs. But the only games I won were ones where I just murdered people like, very early. Oh, there's the tick root. Still get to block though.
There's a fireball. Oh, a decent attrition fireball. Oh, and it's already paid off. Injured on the first one.
I think
badly hurt. He's fine.
Out of sync again.
Oh, War Dancer's stunned. Everyone else resisted.
Yeah, there's the fireball. We're out of sync.
Okay. Paused. Let me know when the yuck bases up target 10.
I'm going through now. Bloodthirster is so good.
He's great.
He can 2-die any other big guy in the game on a blitz with Juggernaut and Claw.
Man, a lot of 1 and 9s here, but I don't know that I would have made that dodge.
No.
So yeah, Bloodthirst is cool. Chaos Pact is nice because yeah, like 3 big guys with mutation access. I think they all get it, as I recall, which is always very, very helpful.
Plus mutations on big guys look awesome.
They do. Slaanesh, people have speculated there's already Slaanesh assets in the game, so
there are like fan created sort of like Slaanesh demons, Slaanesh warriors.
Yeah, they're usually like
stuff.
Sort of agi based mutation teams, which is kind of cool. You've got to be careful with balance there because obviously just making an elf team with mutation access would be horribly broken.
Yeah,
but
well, it'd be similar to Chaos or Nurgle in that there'd be Beastmen and Chaos Warriors, but they'd be slightly different from each other. Right, like the Beastmen would probably start with extra arms or some sort of mutation, maybe be extra movement or whatever. Slaanesh are known in the lore for being sort of fast, like the speedy ones.
Oops, stab on the War Dancer. He's fine.
Works. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if they did Slaanesh. I wouldn't be surprised to see them like similar to Chaos, but with like less strength, more movement type thing.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that dropping the Bloodthirster increases the win rate, simply because their positionals are so expensive that starting Khorne teams have a really rough time with the Bloodthirster. And they have some really cool positionals. Like they've got, I think they don't have any strength 4 pieces, but they've got some like Horns Frenzy pieces, and then they've got these these armor 7 GSA access players. So like basically vampires, but poor stats and no armor. But having 4 positionals with agility, strength, and general access is crazy. But they die, so yeah, mixed results really.
They're also the only players in the team without Frenzy.
That is true, which is probably a blessing for armor 7 pieces. You don't really want them to have Frenzy. Yeah, I don't think Chaos Pact are like a tier 1 team or anything, but I think they're one of the better tier, maybe they're like a tier 2, tier 2.5 even. I don't know enough about them.
Pass time. Huh. Got it. Failed to catch. Thankfully, it was a catcher, and he got to reroll it.
Fairly safe ball. Oh, there's a kicked line rat. He's fine.
Yeah, the ball looks pretty safe. Rats could do some weird cage divey things here, although it'd be a hard dodge to do, but they have...
Oh no, you can just... There's no dodge. He just had to walk into the corner here.
But he went with the stab instead of the wrestle. The wrestle would have had to run all the way around, though. I mean, there was no dodge for the stab player, but I think the stab is less good than like the wrestle player, and I think the wrestle player would have had to dodge in to do a wrestle on the ball.
Yeah, the stab is a 42%. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's the tackle, though.
Another failed GFI.
Yeah, Chaos Pact is really funny because one of their positionals is effectively a Dark Elf lineman.
Yep.
With mutation access. I think he has mutation access. I'd have to go check. He might not, actually.
Just their positional is a lineman. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, you get to have an elf. Sweet.
Yeah.
I like elves.
I like elves, too.
I like Agi 4. Yeah, so the wood elves are still super safe. They're getting closed in a bit here, but with a couple blocks, they should be able to make themselves a bit safer. Especially if they sort of get, they can use that tree as a corner if they want, even though he's taking root. Hands off to the lineman. Is it the thrower? That's the thrower.
He's throwing to the wood elf, yeah. Or the war dancer.
Seems good.
Failed dodge.
I don't know if that war dancer is super safe, but he's blodged, so it's probably fine. Skitter is also stunned, but there's a block gutter runner that could get to him.
Yeah, you can get a 2-die on this ball fairly easily, but he is blodged, so...
It's not super easy to make it a 2-die, because you'd want to hit with the gutter runner, and the gutter runner is strength 2.
Can't you hit with this? I guess you'd have to do a dodge. He's going to do it. He's going for a 1-die, though.
Here we go.
1-die pow. Nope, 1-die skull. Into a 1-die boat down.
Not good enough. It probably would have been worth it to try to make... You would have had to roll some dodges and stuff with the gutter runner to make that a 2-die, but I think it's probably worth it
I would have done it.
Because it's a blodge player. You need the increased chances of knocking him over.
War Dancer's just going to run it in now because that's a failed. No reroll GFI.
A lot of failed GFIs for the rats. They have not been going well for Drats.
The rats have had some really rough dice, it has to be said.
Yeah, so that's blitz free and score, or just a dodge and score. Either one works. And off we go. And there's the 2-1. War Dancer scores. And that's the game. So we're going to go to 9E and look at another Skaven game. With
This one is Skaven versus Necromantic, though, so it's a bit different.
Yep. Once again, score has already been spoiled. Sorry, we did this in the wrong order. But Jeff was playing well. I mean, the best thing for me is that he made the mistake of the sideline cage, and then he just didn't do it again. He recognized his mistake and fixed it, right? And that's always a dangerous thing to have in a coach you're playing, is somebody you can recognize when they make issues and then not do them ever again. Because eventually they just stop making mistakes altogether.
Players are setting up.
And you have skills on. There's A block werewolf, Mighty Blow white, dirty player zombie, kick zombie, Mighty Blow white. Skaven have got a wrestle strip ball, a horns wrestle, both really good. A block sidestep, a block, and then one Mighty Blow storm vermin. Setting up in sort of a semi-screen while protecting the ghoul seems like a good idea against the Skaven. Don't want them charging backwards. Quick snap is doesn't really change anything for you, really. Move the werewolves up a bit, maybe, to make your blitz easier.
Yeah, it makes the blocks and setup easier for the Necromantic, but that's about it.
I mean, the line blocks, I don't think you change anything.
Nah.
Because you still want to hit with the flesh golems and then have them assist the zombie in the middle.
I probably would have set up more aggressively on the line to get more Mighty Blow hits. As it stands, you've only got one, where you could have had two. Two Mighty Blow hits is better than one. That's just math. Oh, injury on the first hit.
And it's a smashed hip. Thankfully, they're only linemen.
Whatever.
It was only a quick snap. You could only move one square. You couldn't have gotten.
No, I meant on his setup in general.
Oh, I see.
We're at 100% armor brick. Because you're gonna blitz presumably with because you've got hits on the Mighty Blow storm vermin, so you'd of course want to take that with your Mighty Blow white.
Yep.
But
yeah, but
you could have put one of the other whites on the line, and I would have done that.
Yeah, that one makes a bit more sense. There are two Mighty Blow whites, and the one on the left has an easier time assisting than the one on the right because of the stun player in the way.
It's true, though the storm vermin on the right is the more valuable one.
Yeah, but in order to actually get an assist to make it a 2-die, you would have had to roll a GFI on the white, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you would have had to go around the zombie that you put in the way. Incoming Mighty Blow hit on that wolf, I would imagine. Yep.
Yeah, left himself a bit open to that.
Just a push, though, so not punished. I would feel that the whites are almost a bit scarier than the werewolves for you in this matchup, because they have Mighty Blow. Like, the claw doesn't matter. I think I'd be more scared of the whites if I was One Cheese or Rex Longbone.
Yeah, I mean, the Mighty Blow is, strictly speaking, better against you. Frenzy can be good. It's a surfing threat, and it makes it more likely that you will knock someone down now that they are safe, like, block players. So
that's true. And the movement 8 can keep up with your gutter runners, so there's that to take into account, too.
Yeah, they will murderate gutter runners.
The big deal is they'll be able to chase them down, so you can't be safe by just running to space, because the werewolves are only one movement slower than you.
Yep, I would be taking a Mighty Blow hit on a Storm Vermin, and I think he agrees.
Let's find out. Here we go. And there's the POW. Armor break. KO. Rewarded. That should... So now as the undead, your whole goal is to make this half last as long as undeadly possible while punching rats with Mighty Blow and try to make your numbers advantage as big as possible.
Oh, taking a 1 die.
Spicy 1 dies.
Yeah, did not get rewarded.
No.
So even had you knocked that guy backwards, you didn't have an easy blitz into the cage.
You
so
wouldn't
I
have been able to
don't know
knock him backwards anyway, because stand firm.
It's true. So you had no way into the cage.
No, like I understand what he was doing there. Like he had the cage was based against his players, so like in a normal situation, you're like, aha, the cage is based against me. I can get free blocks against his cage pieces, which is kind of what you want to do in as defense, right? Maximize the free blocks you get. But in this case, it didn't really help, and it kind of exposed your players a little bit. So maybe that might not have been the best plan, because even if you did knock him over, he could have stood firm and just stayed there.
So the rat's armor is really not working out.
No, well, what armor?
Those storm vermin have armor 8.
Mighty Blow and a line rat. No,
He's fine. Surprised he didn't devote a blitz to
move.
Nico Ratton, but I guess he's not really too worried about this.
No,
You can break this cage corner open on a 1-die, but then how do you get a player in here?
the 1-dies are not working out.
Well, that one worked out eventually, but yeah,
Still
the
cost a
initial roll is
reroll.
not
Down to 1 reroll on turn 3 is not good.
good. Nope.
You got a
It's
cage
a
corner
two.
broken, but you don't have a good opportunity to really take advantage of it right now.
Oh, that was a risky dodge. Gets a 1-die.
Stand firm.
Doing a thing.
Yeah, you've got 2 of your gutter. You've got 2. You got a gutter runner stuck, or 2 of your gutter runners. Just one of them. Gutter runner stuck up on a flesh golem. 2 of them stuck up on a zombie. Yeah. Seems like a little aggressive to me in terms of defense, especially since your opponent is going to want to just try and attrition you.
Agreed. I would have probably played it a bit more safe.
Then again, I also don't play rats, so who knows?
That is true. Neither of us are rat coaches by any stretch of the imagination.
I like this. Pushes the rat into the Mighty Blow. Gets another Mighty Blow hit. Yeah, one day you need guard. If you can get guard on a line rat by rolling doubles or something, or once you get the... if you don't roll doubles on one of your storm vermin to get claw, guard is going to help you out so much. If you're playing aggressively like this with Skaven, like guard is going to make your life so much easier.
Why did he end turn there?
I'm not sure.
Was that a mistake? I feel like that was him accidentally ending turn.
Yeah, well now you get a gutter runner. You can get in with the gutter runner pretty easily if you want.
Yeah. Strip ball tackle. Or strip ball wrestle, rather.
Here we go. Gets it.
That's good enough. I really wanted the hero zombie to catch it.
That's a really hard. If you can 1-die a push onto that zombie, you can make that pick up a lot easier.
Or you can just do that.
No more rerolls, but if you
That
can
was
get
that was a hell of a lot of dice, Rex.
yeah,
Holy
oh my
shit.
god. I mean, you're out of rerolls, but it's worth it. I mean, you just went up 1-0 on their half without losing too many rats, so that worked out really well. That was a mistake, I think, on behalf of the Necro player for sure.
Yeah, I think he ended turn accidentally. Doesn't make any sense otherwise. He had a lot of good hits left.
Yeah, gross rat stuff. I don't know. I'm too lazy to work with the dice. I don't want to pause the game, but would it have been better to try to 1-die the zombie away to then make that pick up a
Oh god, I'm not checking
4+ instead of a 3+ instead of a 4+?
Anything where you have to compare like 10 different dice rolls is just too much work.
Yeah. Plus, I don't want to pause the game and figure it out. Quick snap again. Yeah, that was a dodge, uphill block, then the scatter, and then a dodge, pick up, dodge, GFI. Was the sequence of events there that led to that touchdown. I mean, rats doing rat things, throw buckets of dice at the problem. Like, if there's one team to make that strategy work, it's rats. They are probably the best. If not definitely the best at the throw buckets of dice at the problem style of play. is an injured thrower. Luckily, you don't care too much about the thrower. Not all rat teams even bother to have one. The pass can be nice, but on the other hand, so is passing with just Agi 4 gutter runners instead. I mean, I would have tried the same thing, Rex, but I probably would have blocked the... I would have tried it, certainly. That's how you play rats. You know, do the dodge, try to get the ball stripped off of him. I probably would have considered for a bit more whether or not to block the zombie rather than just dodge, but we don't see all the thinking in the replay. Stuff just sort of happens instantly. So there may have been a lot of thought put into that. I don't know. In the replay, we just see all the actions. We don't actually see the time in between them.
It's true. Sorry, I was distracted by some stuff that's happening.
Stuff that's happening.
Stuff.
I feel like
That's stuff.
there's like an elephant on fire outside of your window, and you're like, you know, stuff's happening. It's fine. Yeah, Skaven.
Well, if you had Discord sounds on, you'd see it. You'd see it's kind of lighting up. But anyway.
I mean, yeah, I don't have Discord sounds on.
So it looks like they want to get this safe in the cage. Will they be able to do it? Yeah, probably, because it's on a ghoul. Yeah, it's fine. So it's going to be pretty hard, again, for Rex to stall this too well. He's got some exposed gutters, but the Mighty Blow pieces are not in a great position to hit them. That said, the Mighty Blow pieces can just punch the gutters that are based up against them, so this is going to be a bit rough of a turn.
Yeah, well, Rex was trying to put gutter runners pressuring the ball, and then he based up some players to stop them from removing the gutter runners, but Toyz got the ball safe before they had to worry about the gutter runners pressuring the ball too much.
He just re-rolled a both down with a block. Oh, that's not a block werewolf. Oh, right. So the werewolves have block after this game, but they do not have block this game.
Yeah, this guy levels up and gets block. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, Blodge Gutter going down.
Armor break. Just a stun. I mean, the bad news is the undead, or the Necro now only have 2 turns to score instead of like 8 like they did before. Where his goal was to break as many rats as possible and score on turn 8. Now his goal is to just, dear God, please can I score on turn 8? You can't be as greedy with your blocks. You've got to be more strategic about making sure you actually get a scoring threat. Whereas when you still have, 6 turns left, it's pretty easy to take that greedy gutter runner block, whereas now you might need to make the more strategic, like line rat block or something.
Well, it's a good foul on the Mighty Blow White.
I was going to say, if anybody's getting fouled, it's right now.
Not just a stun, though. So in order for Abnormal to score, he needs to run basically max range every single turn. I mean, the werewolf actually has an easier time of it.
If he runs max range now, he doesn't have to do any GFIs. The sad news is those flesh golems can't really keep up as well. But they can ideally try to base as many players as possible and at least make the rats roll dice. They have no rerolls left. So if you make him make some scary 3+ dodges, maybe he'll fail one.
He is rolling GFIs, like they're going out of style.
You've got rerolls left, and you need to, I think, at this point.
Yeah, you really need to base up the Storm Vermin.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He currently has a 1-die block with no anything else, but now that he's blocked up with a zombie, you still at least have to make those blocks first before you do that, or a dodge.
That makes it a lot harder.
That does make it a bit harder.
Well, he's gonna red dye it with the
Strip ball gutter runner.
Raj strip ball. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Certainly what I would do as well.
No dodges involved.
Nope, and it doesn't really matter what angle you come in from because it's not like it'll be 3-die uphill. Unless...
Wow, that was a double pow.
Wow. I mean, that worked. And an armor break on the ghoul. Well, now you dodge out with the other gutter runner and see if you can pick that up, maybe. You don't really need to, I guess. The big thing, well, you kind of want to, because that werewolf still has a pretty easy time of scoring. You need to either base him up or make it so that when he frenzies, he's still stuck and can't get back to the ball. Although it is dangerous, because if he gets a both down or something, then that gutter runner does have dodge or Raj, and if you get pushed too far away, that you're gonna have to make a dodge at the end of it. And even then, you're only removing one of the tackle zones from the ball. It's not exactly easy to score as the Necro here, but it's certainly possible. Good enough. It's still a 4+ pickup instead of a 3+ with this werewolf because of the tackle zone, but you get it, and then he gets to go and score and make it 1-1. Touchdown on the blockless werewolf is always good too, because that is going to level him.
Spoiler alert, he gets blocked as discussed.
Yep. Move into half number 2. This is the Skaven drive. They're down 2 players. The undead are down none because they had a zombie bench. Or Necro are down 1 because they had a zombie bench. Not down 1 because they had a zombie bench. I'm sick. Leave me alone. Just giving away a couple extra zombie blocks here that I don't think you really need to. I mean, sure, it makes the blocks against the flesh golems really hard, but the rats are just not going to block the flesh golems anyway. Is he doing what I think he's doing? Oh, that's bad. It's just a stun, thankfully.
Oh, throw rock, everyone's favorite.
Yep, I'm a little bit ahead. I will pause. Let me know when the gutter runners...
No. Gutter runner just picked up the ball and is now repositioning.
Yeah, he just passed it. Turns out deep kick doesn't matter when you have 4 movement 9 players. Oh, although the handoff fails. That was
no one turn.
That was quite a sequence. Yeah, he looks like he was setting up for the one turn, but the pass did not work out the way he wanted it to. However, it didn't really end up in a turnover because it bounced down the line rat line and ended up in the hands of the line rat stuck on the flesh golem. Zombie foul is interesting. Pretty likely to work, but doesn't really need to happen. Into halftime. Zombie gets back up. Rats are still out too, but I've been informed in chat that Rex had a line rat bench, so he's only actually down 1 player. I didn't count. No 1 turn, but that was really funny watching the ball bounce through a bunch of line rats.
It was indeed.
Kick. Ooh, Blizzard. Not that anybody's really passing yet, but it makes those GFIs harder if you decide to try to do those 1 turns and stuff, which is something that Skaven are pretty well known for.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are definitely GFIing a lot.
But yeah, and it just makes the run turns more difficult if you attempt to do so as well. Which, I mean, that's the thing that Skaven will attempt. So. Oh, there's a 1. I don't know if you needed to re-roll that. It especially didn't help that you snaked
If it bounced out, which it does, oh, this could be bad.
Where is this ball going? Okay,
To
still
space. It's fine.
I don't know.
He was worried about it.
Yeah, but I guess he was worried about it bouncing out, I suppose, but it did anyway.
On a couple of max range scatters, it could have been in the Necro's half. I've seen it happen. Though this is a line rat getting surfed. I would assume.
I don't. He can't. Those players stood up, I think, right? Yeah, he can't surf that line rat. Yeah, I would imagine he's worried about the scatter, but I don't know. I think I would have risked it. I don't like using rerolls on turn 1 unless you really need to. It's an
As
injury.
discussed, you hate using rerolls, though.
That's true. Here comes a blitz on that scary gutter runner. Strip ball 1 finds a POW. No armor break though. Turns out it bounced out anyway, but it didn't really make a difference in the end. It seems. I don't know if I like that werewolf blitz there. Like, sure, you want to go after the ball, I guess, but you're exposing 2 of your like reasonably good players. Not that like the Skaven are likely to murder you, because they don't really have a whole lot of mighty blow yet, but you just kind of put 2 players alone, and they're both players you care about, up into the field.
Also, your ball is currently kind of exposed. He's got to dodge out a gutter runner. It's a 1 in 36, so pretty likely to succeed, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like the Necro are going to do weird dodges. Failed that dodge, but that one doesn't matter so much. That was just the line rat trying to get safe. Well, I mean, that's a pretty exposed gutter runner to a mighty blow white, which I'd certainly want to take. Downside is it's wrestle, so it's not really amazingly likely to go over, but if it does, you've got mighty blow. Finds a POW. It's been pretty entertaining so far, Jeff.
It's been surprisingly punchy.
Yeah.
We were talking about your game before this, if you missed it.
Yeah, we watched yours. It seems you learned that sideline cages against Skaven are very scary.
I would have done the same thing as lizards, probably. If I couldn't... Well, I would have based the cage up more first, but... Skinks can do that just as... Well, easier, in fact.
Yeah, only 3 out, and none of them being gutter runners means that the touchdown should be pretty easy for Rex Longbone here. Although...
I don't think he needed to make that... maybe.
Well, otherwise, the werewolf would have been able to, or the white probably would have been able to hit the ball carrier.
Your ball's going to get hit either way. It's not safe.
That's true. It's certainly going to get hit by the werewolf now, or the white now.
I think the white would have to do a GFI. Yeah.
Also, the werewolf has a slightly better chance of it working with Frenzy. But
Yeah.
it looks like he's not going to do that, or at least... Yeah, he's going to go with the... Nope. No blitz.
He might be coming in from the other side with the werewolf. Nope, he's just screening off. That's
I think I would have.
Or he's coming in with the other white, maybe?
The one that doesn't have to do with GFI, yeah. I think I would have done the gone with the werewolf blitz because, he has this. This is a block, sidestep, dodge.
Doesn't matter. Found a bow.
Yeah, but you had a better chance of knocking. The other gutter runner has it now and is not surrounded by all your players, so that just worked out.
Screen.
What?
You can just run it straight down the middle.
Oh yeah. That worked out as good as it possibly could have for Rex Longbone. Wow. Nope. Well, now you just go score, I guess. I think I would have done it with the werewolf because you're not really that likely to knock over that Skaven. You need POWs, and you get 2 chances at it with the werewolf. Basically. These Skaven are just really good at catching balls that get bounced at them. It's happened twice now.
Rex is a champion dice roller, as discussed.
Seems that way.
That's a skull, though.
Stand firm, and now you've got your Mighty Build player stuck up against the
dangers of blitzing whites or flesh golems. I probably wouldn't bother until you get claw. The odds of you causing an injury are just too low for the risk.
Yeah, and they're slow.
And the commitment is the biggest problem.
Yeah, they're slow in strength 4.
Just stay away from them. It's easier.
Yeah, they're only movement 4. They're not even move strength 5 movement 4 or anything. They're just strength 4 movement 4, so they're pretty easy to get away from and not too difficult to deal with. The only thing that makes them really annoying is the stand firm. Dual blitz. Armor break. Just a stun. We watched one of your games earlier. We watched your game against the Skaven during the stream earlier, actually.
Yeah, so, don't throw shade when you don't show up, bitch.
It'll be on YouTube later, certainly.
Just kidding, of course. We watched you thump some Skaven around. It was all good fun. Oof, throwing those 3+ GFIs.
Scary stuff.
Scary shit, yeah.
Especially when you rolled 2 of them. Seems like a good foul.
Yeah, really should have been rewarded, but alas.
Yeah, that's 7+ with an assist and a dirty player. So, basically, that should have happened. I think he only missed it by 1.
Yeah, that's what I figured. He's going to blitz the ghoul out of the way, hopefully.
Yeah, he needed a 7, and he rolled a 6.
Still has to do 1 dodge here, but not too bad.
1 dodge is just a 2+.
And he scores!
Yeah, the big thing we commented on is the sideline cage at the start against Skaven or any sort of stunty type team.
Yeah, was punished. Though not as badly punished as it should have been, I guess.
Yeah, the rat player 1 and 9 right after, which made his touchdown really not possible. But if he didn't 1 and 9 there, he would have scored pretty easily. So punished, but not too bad. World Cup qualifier. That just got rolled today. Someone's enthusiastic. I watched the.
It didn't just get rolled today. It got rolled 4 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the stream of Herringzord draw the new matchups live 4 hours ago.
Yep. I mean, we also saw that Morally played, and that also was rolled a few hours ago, I think.
That's true. Did you watch the stream?
No, I watched a little bit of it, but I was at work.
Herringzord drew Metal, so they're playing next round. Full Metal COS and Herringzord. And remember,
you don't need to say Metal COS I don't know who Metal is.
Yeah. And Big Chuck, if you remember him, he played Necro in America's Sea with us in our college. Drew the Sage.
Well, that's brutal for him.
Yeah.
I played and beat him as one of my first matches, as I recall.
Oh, it was a different World Cup qualifier, not REBBL.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. There are other ones, I suppose. You're allowed to play in different leagues if you really want to. Just clearly, ours is the best.
Yeah, I think Big Chuck was the first PvP game I played. ever. Period. Oh, he
Kinda
left the
cool.
corner of this cage wide open for some reason.
Yeah, that is certainly
That's
a mistake.
getting gutter runner blitzed.
Because that is, yeah, absolutely getting gutter runnered. With the strip ball wrestle guy. No dodges
He's got a
required.
werewolf just sitting at the back. I wonder if he just...
There's quite a
Yeah,
few
that's
mistakes from the Necro team this round, I feel.
Yeah, I think both teams have made some questionable choices.
Although
but
it turns out
the
it's
Necro
easier
team
to exploit mistakes as Skaven.
It's true. I'm only playing in the REBBL World Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
Though, honestly, my chances of making the World Cup are probably best from the REBBL one. That's for sure. It's only something like 25 coaches.
Yeah, there's also only one ticket though.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm not too invested in it. I think it's a different format, like the res format stuff that I've never really played before, so I think it'll be fun. And I have zero aspirations about how well I would do if I happened to qualify. So I'm not gonna dedicate hours and hours of my life attempting to qualify for it. Certainly, but it's gonna be fun to try.
You won your first game though, right?
I did, yeah. But I mean, I'm not. That's why I'm only doing one and not 15 leagues like some people are doing. I don't really care about maximizing my chances to get into it because I don't think I will do well if I'm in it.
Who'd you play?
Poetically spoken.
Oh, okay. I'm playing him tomorrow, but not for the World Cup, for minors. Where he gets 500k inducements.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
It's gonna be weird.
When are you playing? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow at God, I have to look. Like 6 p.m. I think EST.
No, I can watch that. And then I think there, as we heard, there's one of our, either 9D or 9E scheduled to play at like 8 p.m.
It was
so that seems like a stream night to me.
Although they're playing at 7 p.m. so they probably will their game will be half over.
Okay, well we can still jump in and check. Although it really depends on how well I'm feeling. As I mentioned, I'm starting to get sick, so if it's much worse tomorrow, I don't think I'll be able to talk a whole lot.
Yeah, it's Rex Longbone playing CR Boys as Wood Elves. Yeah. Tomorrow at 7.
I'd like to, but I don't know if my voice will be... Like, my throat really hurts right now. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. We'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. I should probably study at some point as well. I've got an exam on Monday.
In what?
Macroeconomics.
So why study?
Because I don't want to derive all of the graphs on the exam itself. I'd like to memorize a couple of them, even though they're all basically supply-demand curves drawn out.
Yeah, you can do that whole course from a supply-demand curve.
I know. I have a real degree, I understand.
Well, I did when I did that course. Yeah, Shadorra's doing an MBA currently.
Part-time MBA while I also work.
Yeah, which is extra funny because his background is in engineering. So all the math courses they make you take for MBAs are utterly trivial.
Yep, that was giving away a free hit on a Mighty Blow player, which 1G's immediately takes.
Yep, certainly.
It wasn't the safest block. I wouldn't have taken it first, though I guess he wanted to use this wrestle piece, so makes sense.
Well, this is a pretty easy touchdown, I think, for 1G's. All you have to do really is remove one of these, and then it's a 2+ to score, but it's not too difficult to remove both of them.
Is he going to try Vanity? Yeah, he is.
It would level that Storm Vermin. Oops, I switched
Which
to
is
you.
why he's doing it.
Here it goes.
And he gets it.
Boom. Levels the Storm Vermin. Nice. And that makes it 3-1 for 1Cheese. And that's that game. Still undefeated. Throws a lot of dice, and those dice seem to work. If your dice
we'll see if that holds up.
yeah, and if your dice are working, Skaven is certainly a team that you can take advantage of that on. But also, I think a lot of this, honestly, came down to there were quite a few mistakes, I think, that the Necro player made. And if we were going more in depth and pausing and talking about stuff, we probably could have pointed that out a bit more. But this was more a quick review rather than an in-depth critique. But I think there were a couple of things the Necro could have done better to make that a lot harder for 1Cheese. Yeah, you do. the good news is you're not too far behind. But your match coming up this week is so important. You have to win that. If you win that, then suddenly you're basically within striking distance, because you get a bye the week after, and your only other competition for the top spot is One Cheese and the person you're playing this week. So you need to win this match this week, and then your playoff chances increase pretty significantly.
Bizarre that he's blocking straight forward so he doesn't get the diagonal blocks.
Yeah. He could have maximized his blocks a bit better there.
Yeah, and he made blocks with a zombie instead of Flesh Golem, which is not where you want the SPP. So.
Well, he did get some SPP on Bork from that injury.
Yep, and that's nice. Getting more
Respect
werewolf
foul?
SPPs?
No.
I don't think so. Oh, maybe.
Respect foul.
Do you say respect foul?
Yeah.
Is that what you call turn 16 lineman fouls?
Yeah, it's a sign of respect. I think he could have tied you as well. There was I think there was one point where he ended turn too early, and the open cage at the end was pretty bad.
There was some weird shit that game for sure.
I think he could have played that a bit better. But well done for taking advantage of the mistakes. And that's how you win games in Blood Bowl, especially as Skaven. Taking advantage of openings is how you play Skaven, really, and yeah, you certainly accomplished that. So yeah, after that game, you see One Cheese at the head of the leaderboards with 7 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. Although Mikamoto Killas are awful hot on his tail, along with Does Not Nakas with 6-2-0, and these two are playing this week. So this match means a whole lot for this Division 9E playoff race. They're only behind by 2 points, and one of them is certainly going to be able to take a bit of an advantage after this week. So that'll be interesting to see the results of. So tune in next week, I guess, when we get to see what the playoff standings looks like. Getting awful close now. I'm certainly starting to get excited for playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to miss some of it when I'm away, but Ben will have you covered, and when I get back, we'll pick up where we left off.
Certainly will. That's that for this week, I suppose. So thanks for tuning in. I'll definitely be doing stuff on Friday because I have a game scheduled for Friday, so I stream all my games, so I'll be playing that if you want to catch me again. Next time will definitely be Friday. So until then, thanks for watching. I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.